Joe Scarborough puts the mess in MSNBC.
Funny guy, huh?
There's facts that we're still backfilling on Trump's felony, and they, of course, are intentionally missing the main points of the whole thing, that it was unfair, a complete sham trial. But welcome to Doug in Exile, where we hold MSNBC, Mika, Brzezinski, Joe Scar Tissue. We hold them to account. Watch this first clip. This is Mika Brzezinski trying to sum up the Trump trial case, and it takes her 26 seconds to go over everything. Watch how long this is. This is not simple. This is complicated, convoluted, gobbledygook. Watch this.
Each of the 34 felony counts is associated with a falsified business record pertaining to Trump's reimbursement of his former attorney and fixer Michael Cohen for a hush money payment to adult film actress Stormy Daniels during the 2016 presidential campaign to keep her quiet about a says she had with Trump back in 2006.
That is so complicated and terrible. Hold on. They continue. That's not over. That is so complicated and so convoluted, but that's not over. Here goes.
Sentencing is set for July 11th, just 4 days before the Republican National Convention begins in Milwaukee. The maximum sentence for falsification of business records is 4 years in prison, but incarceration is not a mandatory sentence. It will be Judge Juan Merchan who ultimately decides the punishment.
Oh, whew. At least it's just Juan Merchan. So we have someone fair to decide if Trump goes to jail or not. He's going to jail. Juan Merchan. This is his one shot because Trump's going to appeal. He's going to win. He's going to get off the hook. This is their one chance of throwing him in jail. They're not going to wait. They're going to throw him in jail.
Chuck, I'm curious, your first impressions of what happened yesterday, what Americans should be looking at, what they should be focusing on as we move forward.
Yeah, it's going to be hard, I think, for our very divided country, Joe, to look at this the way I do. I mean, I think it's relatively simple.
Oh, it's relatively simple. Here, I sped it up to twice its speed just so you can get through what Mika Brzezinski called it. This is what he calls simple, remember.
Each of the 34 felony counts is associated with a falsified business record pertaining to Trump's reimbursement of his former attorney and fixer Michael Cohen for a hush money payment to adult film actress Stormy Daniels during the 2016 presidential campaign to keep her quiet about a sexual encounter she says she had with Trump back in 2006.
Wow, that's a mouthful. That's not simple. So that lawyer, he's already wrong. I'm already more of an expert than him, and I'm a comic book artist.
The real question for me, what I'm really curious about, is what the DA's office asks for. Will they say, this is kind of a political decision. Let's ask for probation only. We've won. Let's call it a victory. Or will they ask for incarceration? I believe they will ask for an incarceration sentence.
I love how he answers his own question. I believe they're going to ask for jail. This is a Democrat. Gee, I wonder what they'll ask for. Surely they'll just try to be fair and reasonable to Trump, right? Because this isn't political or marketing or anything. Yeah, Trump's going to prison. I love these guys acting dumb and pretending like this thing is still fair.
What happened? I mean, I must say that I said it, and I've said it here before, that in a nation where 77 million people voted for Donald Trump, I just, maybe I was being cynical, but I just thought there would be one out of 12 jurors that would have said no.
No, there is not one person with an independent mind in New York. Of all those 12 jurors, not one. They're going to end up insulting the jury even as they try to protect them, because these are politicized, they're united, they're followers, they're stupid. They could not find a single conservative. That's where this thing went wrong. In the jury selection, which is Juan Merchan, is the bag man in this whole thing.
So I was surprised by the quickness of it. I was surprised by the
resounding
34 of 34. What do you all think happened in there?
Now something tells me they're not going to tell you what actually happened in there. What do you think happened in there? 12 Democrats got on a jury. Juan Merchan made sure there were 12 of them. That's what happened in there. Not one of these experts will say that on MSNBC. They will not tell you the actual truth of what happened in there. So Let's just come across these string of liars.
Well, Joe, I think what happened is evidence happened.
Oh, yeah, evidence happened. That's why they couldn't move this thing to Jersey or Florida or Oklahoma, because you could present the exact same evidence. If evidence happened, Trump would be guilty in Florida. Heck no. This had nothing to do with evidence, lady. And you know this all has to do with venue. Sticking it in Manhattan, 93% Democrat. Everyone has all those Democrats have a negative view of Trump, and you know it. Tell the truth, you washed up, dirty, foul, decomposing mermaid on a hot rock. I'm a comic book artist. I got more smarts than you.
It only takes one juror, but practically speaking, if you're that one of 12 and you get in that jury room and you find that, oh, I'm the only one who doesn't agree with my 11 fellow jurors, those folks, I don't think, tend to hold out for too long. I think that just mass psychology.
Oh, yeah, I like this guy, too. He's basically saying, look, there might have been one jury, Joe. There might have been one juror who is independent thinking, but they're a bunch of followers. Mass psychology. They don't stand out for long, buddy. That is a huge indictment of this jury and New Yorkers. Manhattan people are a bunch of followers. Hey, if I was the one jury, I'd be like, hey, forget you. We're hanging this jury. I am not going along with you guys. But this guy, this legal expert, he's an expert. Remember, says New York, bunch of empty-headed followers.
Were you satisfied with jury selection?
Look, was I satisfied? We put a motion in because we said we could not get a fair jury in Manhattan. And that's not I'm not being disparaging to the jurors, man. They were great. They showed up on time every day. They were committed. They paid attention. But we're in a situation where we had a very limited number of people we could strike. And most of the folks, overwhelming number of folks, had a very strong opinion of President Trump. And it wasn't positive.
Who determines the amount of people they can strike off a jury? That's Judge Juan Merchan. So that's Trump's lawyer saying we had a very limited number of people we could strike from the jury. That means the numbers were always going to play into the prosecution's favor, because the jury kind of came preformed just by going for normal people in New York. Normal people, they were going to always have a loaded court. That's unfair. Now, of course, MSNBC forgets those facts. They have no idea what facts have been told and circulated in public because they purposefully forget everything in their own willful ignorance.
They paid attention.
You know, he talked about, Willie, how
all she remembered was that the jurors paid attention. That's the only thing she heard in that whole segment. The jurors paid attention. How quickly you forgot that the defense attorney for Trump had very few jurors he could strike off the jury. It was an unfair picking process. I'm Doug in Exile.